Picture this moment with me. It is 14 July 2014 in Paris, and a man who once arrived in Mumbai with big dreams and not much else is being honored by the French government with the Legion of Honor. Not a film award, not a box office headline, but one of France's highest distinctions. And the reason I love starting here is because it makes you rewind and ask, how does someone go from a kid growing up in Delhi to standing on a stage in France, recognized on a global level, after building a career that stretches across decades, languages, and generations? That man is Shah Rukh Khan, and his story is not just about fame. It is about timing, discipline, heartbreak, sharp instincts, and the quiet courage to begin again when life changes overnight. Stay with me, because in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the true story of how he grew, step by step, from television sets in late 1980s India to record-breaking films and worldwide recognition. And if you enjoy learning English through real lives like this, you can subscribe, like, and leave a comment about what you admire most about Shah Rukh Khan, or if you have ever had a moment where you had to start over in a new place. Shah Rukh Khan was born on the 2nd November 1965 in New Delhi, India. When people talk about him today, they often call him the king of Bollywood, but his beginning was not royal at all. He grew up in Delhi, and his early world was shaped by school, sports, friends, and a family that mattered deeply to him. One of the important places in his early life was St. Columba's School in Delhi. This detail might sound small, but it matters because when you look at his personality later, you can see the confidence of someone who learned early how to participate, compete, and stand in front of people without shrinking. He was also known to be active in sports during his school years. And I want you to notice this language expression right here because it fits his early personality so well. People sometimes say someone has a lot of fire in them. Having fire means having energy, ambition, and a strong drive. Shah Rukh had that kind of fire, the kind you can feel even before the world knows your name. Life also hit him with loss early. His father, Mir Taj Muhammad Khan, died in 1981. Shah Rukh was still a teenager then. Losing a parent young can change the shape of your whole life because suddenly you understand that time is real and it moves fast and you cannot pause it. He later studied at Hansraj College, which is part of the University of Delhi. He was continuing forward, building his education, staying in motion. But then another huge change arrived. His mother, Latif Fatima, died in 1991. That year matters. 1991 becomes a turning point because it is also around the period when he decided to move to Mumbai and fully chase acting. When people talk about following your dreams, they don't always mention how often dreams are connected to grief. Sometimes you move forward because you have to, because staying in the old place hurts too much. And that is a very human thing. If you have ever felt like a new city could give you a new version of yourself, you understand that feeling. Before films, there was television. In the late 1980s, Indian television was a powerful space, and Shah Rukh began acting in TV series that helped him get noticed. One of the most famous early projects was Fauji, which started in 1989. Another was Circus, also from that period. These weren't glamorous movie star projects with massive sets. It was real working actor life, learning how to show up, take direction, and perform again and again. Here is a useful, everyday expression connected to this phase. You might hear someone say he was paying his dues. Paying your dues means you are doing the hard work at the beginning, the work that builds skill and earns respect over time. Those TV years were Shah Rukh paying his dues, and they mattered because by the time he stepped into films, he didn't feel like a beginner inside. He moved to Mumbai around 1991, and Mumbai is not just a city in this story. It is a test. It is crowded, competitive, loud, and full of people chasing the exact same dream. Then, in 1992, he made a major entry into Hindi cinema with Deewana. This is one of those concrete, verifiable moments fans recognize because it is the start of the film journey that later becomes legendary. Dewana released in 1992, and it helped him win the Filmfare Award for Best Male Debut. Awards are not the whole story, but they can be a signal, like a green light that tells the industry, pay attention to this person. And think about what that means emotionally. You come to a new city after losing your mother in 1991, you take the risk, and then in 1992, the world tells you, you belong here. Not just in your own imagination, but publicly. In the early 1990s, he did something that made him stand out even more. He took on roles that were darker and riskier than the typical sweet romantic hero image. Films like Bazigar in 1993 and Dar in 1993 became signature moments because audiences saw this intense, unpredictable energy. This mattered because he wasn't trying to be safe. He wasn't trying to be only one thing. There is a phrase we use in everyday English that fits here. He took a risk. Taking a risk means doing something that could fail or could harm your chances, but you do it anyway because you believe in the outcome. Those early choices helped define him as an actor with range and nerve, and the industry noticed. Then comes the era that turned him into a symbol of romance for millions. In 1995, Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge released, directed by Aditya Chopra. This is not just a popular film. It became a cultural landmark. It also became famous for an almost unbelievable achievement. It has had a historic long run at the Maratha Mandir Cinema in Mumbai, beginning in 1995, and it is often described as one of the longest-running films in Indian cinema. This is one of those amazing facts that sounds like a story, but it is attached to a real place, a real theater, and a real year. And I want you to pause for a second and imagine the emotional weight of that. A film releases, people love it, and then it keeps living, week after week, year after year, in the same city where he once arrived trying to become someone. That is poetic in a way you cannot plan. Through the late 1990s and early 2000s, his career kept expanding. By this time, he was not just acting. He was becoming a brand, a presence, a global face of Hindi cinema. He starred in films that became major fan favorites and big moments in popular culture, like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai in 1998, Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham in 2001, and Devdas in 2002, which was directed by Sanjay Leela Bhansali. Devdas also had international attention, including a presence at the Cannes Film Festival in 2002. Cannes matters as a named global event because it's one of those places where world cinema meets, and Indian films and stars get seen in a different way through an international lens. In 2002, another major milestone happened that many casual viewers might not think about, but it shaped his long-term power in the industry. He co-founded Red Chillies Entertainment. Building a company is different from starring in films. It means thinking long-term, taking responsibility, and learning the business side of storytelling. Red Chillies became known for production and also for visual effects work. And this is an important life lesson too. When you build something that lasts, you create stability that is not dependent on one project. In everyday English, we might say he was playing the long game. Playing the long game means you are thinking beyond immediate wins and building for the future. That mindset becomes even more meaningful later, when careers face ups and downs. In 2005, Shah Rukh Khan received the Padma Shri, one of India's major civilian honors. When a country honors an actor like that, it suggests the person is not just successful, but culturally significant. His influence was already larger than cinema screens. He was also becoming highly visible on television as a host, connecting with audiences in a more direct way, week after week. And that kind of visibility can be both a gift and a pressure, because when people see you everywhere, they also expect you to always be on, always polished, always winning. But real life doesn't work like that, and his story includes moments when the shine gets complicated. In 2007, he starred in Chak De India, which became a landmark sports drama in Hindi cinema. The film is remembered not just because it was successful, but because it carried emotional power and national-level conversations about teamwork, women in sports, and identity. 2007 is also the year he received France's Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, another major cultural honor. Notice how these years stack up. Strong films, strong recognition, and a steady sense that he is representing Indian entertainment on a world stage. But here's the thing about being at the top. The higher you go, the more pressure you carry. If you've ever felt like people only see your achievements and not your exhaustion, you can understand the hidden side of that success. Then in 2008, another very public chapter began when Shah Rukh Khan became associated with the Indian Premier League as a co-owner of the Kolkata Knight Riders franchise. The IPL is not a small thing. It is a massive cricket league with intense fan culture, huge audiences, and constant media attention. Sports ownership is another example of expanding beyond acting, stepping into business, and public identity. It also comes with criticism, expectations, and spotlight. And this is where a useful phrase fits perfectly. When you step into something big and public, you are in the limelight. Being in the limelight means being watched by everyone, and everything you do becomes news. Over the years, his film choices continued to shift with time. He kept trying different genres, and not every project landed the same way. That is normal in a long career. What I admire about Shah Rukh Khan is that he didn't stop experimenting even after becoming a superstar. In the 2010s, he took on films that aimed for different emotional tones, including My Name is Khan in 2010, directed by Karan Johar, which reached global audiences and carried a serious social message. When an actor with massive romantic hero fame takes on a role like that, it shows a willingness to use popularity for heavier storytelling. And if you're learning English, here is a gentle phrase you can keep. He used his platform. Using your platform means using your visibility to bring attention to ideas that matter. There are also important personal life milestones that shaped him. Shah Rukh Khan married Gauri Khan in 1991. That year is already a major emotional year for him because of his mother's passing, and it's also the year he began a new chapter in Mumbai and committed to his relationship. Over time, their family grew, and his identity as a father became part of his public image too. But even with all this, life doesn't stop testing you. Public figures experience real family stress, real worry, and real pain just with cameras watching. In the early 2020s, his family faced a widely reported legal situation involving his son, Aryan Khan. The case drew huge media attention in 2021, and later, in 2022, it was reported that the charges were not pursued by India's Narcotics Control Bureau. I'm mentioning this carefully and respectfully because it was a major public moment that affected how people saw him, and because it shows something real about fame. Fame cannot protect you from fear. It can actually amplify fear, because your private life becomes public discussion. Now I want to take you into one of the most dramatic, fan-recognized chapters in his career. After years of constant work, Shah Rukh Khan had a period where he took fewer film releases, and expectations started to build. People wondered what his next era would look like. Then, in 2023, something happened that felt like a real comeback in the eyes of many fans. Pathaan released on 25th of January 2023, and it became a major box office event. It was widely reported as one of the highest-grossing Indian films ever, with worldwide earnings reported at over INR 1,000 crore. When you hear a number like that, it's not just money, it's a signal of scale. It means crowds, global screens, and a return of a kind of mass excitement that only a few stars can create. And emotionally, it means something else too. It means he came back to the center after people questioned what his future would be. In everyday English, we say he proved people wrong. Proving people wrong means showing through results that the doubts were not correct. And he didn't stop there. Later in 2023, Jawan released on 7 September 2023, directed by Atlee, and it also became a huge event, widely reported as another record-breaking box office success. Then Donkey released on 21st December 2023, directed by Rajkumar Hirani, adding a different kind of story and tone to the same year. Just think about that timeline. 3 major films in 1 year, each with massive attention, each with different creative teams, each carrying the weight of expectation. That takes stamina, planning, and a very strong inner engine. It also shows something that I really want English learners to remember when you feel stuck. You can have a quiet season, and then you can have a powerful season. Your timeline does not have to match anyone else's. Along the way, Shah Rukh Khan's international recognition continued to grow. In 2015, he received an honorary degree from the University of Edinburgh. That matters because it shows how his influence is seen beyond entertainment. Universities do not give honors like that just for popularity. It usually reflects a broader cultural impact. In 2018, he received the Crystal Award at the World Economic Forum in Davos for his work supporting children's and women's rights, connected to his philanthropy through the Mir Foundation. Davos is a very specific place, and the World Economic Forum is a very specific event, and that kind of recognition places him in a global conversation that goes beyond film. It's one of those facts that reminds you he is not only a performer, but also someone building a legacy. Let's slow down and reflect for a moment, because this is where the story becomes useful for your own life, not just interesting. Shah Rukh Khan's journey shows a pattern. Early life energy in Delhi, sudden loss, a move to Mumbai around 1991, years of work in television in 1989, then film success beginning in 1992 with Deewana, then risky roles in 1993, then a massive romantic breakthrough in 1995 with Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, then global recognition and business expansion in the 2000s with Red Chillies Entertainment in 2002, the national honor in 2005, major cultural honors from France in 2007 and 2014, and then a huge commercial return in 2023. That is not one lucky moment. That is decades of showing up. And showing up is a phrase I want you to keep. Showing up means continuing to be present and work, even when you feel tired, unsure, or scared. Another reason he is such an interesting figure for English learners is that his life connects so naturally to everyday vocabulary about pressure, discipline, and identity. Think about the word resilience. Resilience means the ability to recover and continue after difficult experiences. You can see resilience in the way he handled loss in 1981 and 1991 and still built a future. You can see resilience in the way he continued through career phases where not every film had the same response. You can see resilience in how he stayed steady through public attention that could easily shake a person. And if you're learning English, here's a simple, useful way to say it in daily life. He kept going. That's it. Kept going means he continued. It sounds small, but it can carry an entire life inside it. Let me give you a few more fan-recognized signature moments, tied carefully to facts. One is the 1995 release of Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge and its historic run at Maratha Mandir in Mumbai. Another is the 2007 release of Chak De India, a film that became part of India's sports film identity. Another is the 2014 Paris Honor, the Legion of Honor, which marked his cultural influence internationally. Another is the 2023 Pathan release on 25th January 2023, widely reported to have crossed INR 1,000 crore worldwide, which signaled a major commercial comeback. These moments stand out because they are clear points on a timeline where you can feel the shift, like chapters turning. Now, as your English-loving friend, I want to gently point out something you can practice while listening. When we tell a life story in English, we often connect events with simple time phrases. in 1992, then in 1995, later in the 2000s, by 2014, and then in 2023. If you start using those phrases naturally, your English will sound more fluent because you are guiding your listener through time. And that is exactly what Shah Rukh Khan's story is. A journey through time, through changing industries, changing audiences, and changing personal seasons. There is also something very specific about his relationship with the public. Shah Rukh Khan has been known for years as someone with a strong connection to fans, and that connection is part of why his comebacks feel emotional. Fans don't just watch his films. They track his life. They measure time with his movies. They remember what they were doing when a film released, who they were with, what city they watched it in. That is a kind of cultural memory, and that is why when a film like Pathan arrives in 2023 and fills theaters again, it feels like something personal for many people, not just entertainment. In everyday English, we might say it hit different. If something hits different, it affects you in a stronger or more personal way than you expected. And then I would explain it simply like this. It felt deeper than just a movie. And maybe the most powerful thing about this story is how it shows that success is not a straight line. People who look unstoppable still face grief, doubt, criticism, and fear. They still have to make decisions when they are tired. They still have to protect their family. They still have to choose what kind of person they want to be while everyone is watching. Shah Rukh Khan's career has had eras of massive wins and eras of quieter uncertainty. But the long view, the big timeline from 1965 to the late 1980s television years, to the 1992 debut, to the 1995 landmark, to the 2000s honors, to 2014 Paris, to the 2023 return, that long view shows a person who kept evolving. So, if you are learning English and also building your own life, I want you to take one warm lesson from his timeline. You can be ambitious and still be human. You can be confident and still feel pain. You can be famous or invisible and still need discipline to improve. The next time you feel like your progress is too slow, remember that Shah Rukh Khan's story is decades long. Real growth often looks like quiet work followed by visible results. Or, like we say in everyday English, it takes time. It takes time means patience is part of the process, not a mistake. And I'll end by taking you back to that Paris moment on 14 July 2014 because it ties the whole story together. A boy born in New Delhi on this 2nd November 1965, who worked through television in 1989, who made his big film entry in 1992, who reached a cultural peak with a 1995 film that became historic in a Mumbai cinema, who built a company in 2002, who received India's Padma Shri in 2005, who earned major cultural recognition from France in 2007 and again in 2014, and who reminded the world of his box office power in 2023 with Pathan on 25th January, that person is standing in a place far from where he started, being recognized for what he created. And the reason that matters for you and me is simple. It shows that your starting point is not your ending point. If you keep learning, keep practicing, keep showing up, your life can expand in ways you cannot even picture yet. If you want, leave a comment telling me which Shah Rukh Khan moment is most memorable for you or what dream you are quietly working on right now, and I'll see you in the next episode.